Welcome to Transformational Tuesdays. I'm your host, the entrepreneur in training, also known as Zen-trepreneur, and I'm sitting in my Zen pose, as you could see, also known as Shai Lev, also known as just in time, depending who you ask. And this is episode 1 of Transformational Tuesdays, part of a daily podcast, videocast, show, you name it. You name it, you'll like it. You like it, we'll name it. And this show deals with entrepreneurship, it deals with exponential technologies and futurism and Psych Tech, what I like to call Psych Tech. So a lot of things in today's episode, a lot of things that are coming up. And before we start, I would like to invite you to sit down, whether on a chair or the way I like it, on the floor in the Eastern tradition. Sit down and grab yourself something to drink, like a cup of tea. I like tea. It could be coffee, it could be water, it could be decaffeinated tea or a cold drink, or maybe a fruit shake or a healthy shake or anything you would like. Grab your glass of favorite beverage, and this is I'm borrowing it from Scott Adams' playbook, who's one of my favorite podcasters, YouTubers, periscopers, bloggers, you name it, author of Dilbert. And we're going to do a simultaneous sip. I invite you to take a simultaneous sip with me. Great. And the reason I do this is, first of all, inviting you to take a sip with me creates an informal atmosphere. It creates like a coffee date type thing. And just drinking together, I'll take another sip, just relaxes you and puts you in the zone. It puts you in listening mode. It empties your cup, literally empties your cup, sip by sip. Oh, this is good tea. And it creates a situation where we can communicate. You can listen, I can talk, and we can transfer energy, transfer information. And so, Scott Adams, who's one of my favorite people in the world, very smart guy, is someone I take a lot of inspiration from, and I'm going to be talking about him a lot on this show. So what is Transformational Tuesdays? I'm going to have a show. I'm starting a show starting today, a daily show. And Tuesdays are going to be called Transformational Tuesdays. Wednesdays are probably going to be called Wellness Wednesdays, or perhaps Wealthy Wellness Wednesdays. And tomorrow I'll talk about that. So Thursdays are going to be called Thankful Thursdays. Fridays are a very special day. They're going to be called Financial Freedom Fridays. Saturdays I haven't decided on. I'll probably have a show on Saturday night, and I don't know what it's going to be named. Sundays are going to be called, I might call them Singularity Sundays. Saturdays I might call Soulful Sundays, Saturdays, and they'll be a little bit more mystical. They'll go into things like Kabbalah and mysticism. Sundays are going to be called Singularity Sundays. I'll be talking about the latest news from Singularity University and exponential technologies. And Mondays are going to be called Marketing Mondays. So as you can notice, these are all terms that are related to business and entrepreneurship and business growth and startups. And that's something I am obviously very interested in, as you could see in the title of this channel, Entrepreneur in Training, or Zen-trepreneur. And they are about meditation and spirituality, which are two things I'm extremely passionate about. Now, let's get into today's topics. I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship. I'm going to talk about psychological technologies, Psych Tech, and I'm going to talk about futurism. And obviously, I have to address the question of what is a transformation, since we are talking about Transformational Tuesdays. So, entrepreneurship is basically owning, starting, running a business, or as they're called today, a startup. Exponential technology, I see it as something that allows us these days to take shortcuts and to hack our way into having a successful business and startup. And a transformation is what is required for a human being to basically, it's what's needed to happen in order for somebody, or for you, or for any person to become a business owner. And what does it take to have a transformation? Well, it turns out that transformations on the one hand are not very easy. Most people are very, very set in their ways. So it takes a certain, I would say, grit, a certain character that's required for a transformation. But in fact, if there's a will, there is a way. We know that. If there's a will, there is a way for anything. But let's take an example of a transformation that a lot of people are familiar with. You have a friend, you haven't seen him in a while, right? Let's take a sip for this. Let's drink to transformations. Alright. So you have a friend, you haven't seen him in a while. And then you see him after 6 months, and suddenly he's a lot thinner than he used to be. Like he or she they lost a lot of weight, they became a lot more healthy and a lot more fit. And you're like, wow, you've transformed, you've changed, you lost so much weight, and you're happy for that person, hopefully. Or you're jealous, less hopefully. But that is a transformation. So we notice that a transformation, first of all, it takes time. It's not like most of the time you don't see somebody day in, day out, like somebody at work, and suddenly you notice a huge transformation. Transformations, they take 6 months, they take a year, they take sometimes 2 years or 5 years. Transitions are what I call steps towards transformations. So a transition might be like a momentary success you might have in your life. For example, you go to your boss's office and you say, I want a raise, and he gives you a raise. And obviously that comes with a bigger paycheck, but also comes with extra responsibilities. And that's when you have, that's a transition. So you might be paid a little bit more, and now you have new responsibilities, and you have to adjust to that. And that takes instantaneously. A transformation is a noticeable change in a person's life. So when it comes to business, a transformation might be going from being employed to being self-employed and living off of that business, living off of that, of being self-employed. That's a very, very, very amazing transformation that somebody could have. It's huge success, and that's what this channel is about. It's about basically helping others to go through a transformation such as this. For example, from being employed to being self-employed, or from being a struggling business owner to being to achieving the goal of being a successful business owner, achieving that benchmark, or perhaps growing a business that exists. And technologies, they come into play here when we say, well, how do you grow a business in a way that is, that's the relatively easy these days? The way we do this is through technology, is through exponential technologies, is through automation. I mean, it's all the rage today to talk about AI, to talk about in marketing funnels, which we'll be talking about on Marketing Mondays. And by the way, as you can see, I'm a entrepreneur in training. I'm not a complete entrepreneur who has figured it all out and is now teaching from the top of a mountain. I'm not a Sergey Brin. I'm not a Larry Page. I'm not a Jeff Bezos but I am in training, and I'm on my path. And as I'm on my path, I like to be able to report about it, talk about it, and by teaching what I learn, by sharing the knowledge I gain as I go, it helps me actually grow as well. And it also serves another purpose. It serves documenting my path, and it helps me spread the knowledge. It doesn't stay with me. It spreads out to others, hopefully to you. Hopefully you'll take it and spread it further, and it achieves the goal of creating financially independent entrepreneurs. And so that's what this channel is about. This whole show is about. That is the goal I'm after. And on Financial Freedom Fridays, we'll talk more in depth about financial freedom. But for now, today we're talking about transformations. Going from being employed to self-employed is a huge transformation. Or somebody going from having a struggling business to a successful one, that's a huge transformation. So I would say transformation could be another word for success. But success, you see, success is a bit of it's hard to define. Well, actually, you can define success. A transformation is what it takes to achieve success in real life, as they say, on the ground. Basically, you could say that let's define success according to a certain key performance indicator, right? KPI. And so then, if you've achieved it by a certain date, that goal, then you're successful. If not, you're not successful. But what does it take to achieve that success? It takes a transformation. Well, then, what is it that we covered transition versus transformation? Now, what is it that causes a transformation? What is it that realistically causes a transformation? So these days, the thing that I see that causes the best transformation is technologies for businesses. They transform businesses, automation for businesses. But I'm talking for humans, for the business owner, or for the aspiring entrepreneur, for the employee who wants to become an entrepreneur, or if you're somebody in an organization and you want to go up the ladder or perform in that organization, or give of yourself, give of your ingenuity, and rise, basically solve problems and rise up the ranks by being entrepreneurial inside the organization. Intrapreneur, they call it. The way to transform yourself, there's a technology that I call Psych Tech, psychological technology. What is Psych Tech? Psych Tech is, before I say I'm going to invite you for another simultaneous sip, let's drink together, raise your glass, and let's have a nice little l'chaim, as they say in Hebrew. Great. So, Psych Tech is one of many disciplines, such as neurolinguistic programming, hypnosis, and meditation, which is an old, I would say, Psych Tech, psychological technology. And there's a myriad of modalities of Psych Tech that helps you transform. What is required for a transformation? What's required for a transformation is a change in your behaviors and beliefs and mindsets and emotions. If you think about it like this, from a logical perspective, if you were to take a very successful entrepreneur like Larry Page, Sergey Brin, Donald Trump even. And Donald Trump is an interesting example because he had fallen and risen, and he was able to get to the presidency. However, he did that, but he hacked his way to the presidency. You take somebody like that, somebody very talented, you strip away their wealth, their money, and if they're resourceful, they'll find their way. So what it causes, they'll find their way back to wealth again. So it's about creating skills, right? It's about being resourceful, knowing what to do at any situation. And so what does cause a change like that in a person? It's obviously education, but there's more to it. There's a psychological shift that must happen, and a certain personal growth that must happen in order for you or for somebody else to become a successful entrepreneur. So one of these things is NLP, meditation. Last night I had this amazing session called Rebirthing, which is taking a lot of oxygen into the body and breathing in a circular way, and something that you do in a group. And there's a magical effect that is sometimes could be more powerful than meditation, in that it opens up the consciousness, awareness, and you tap into a new source within you. That's what happens in meditation, but with meditation it takes a lot of training. You have to sit down and you have to watch your thoughts, watch your mind, and there are many schools of meditation, and it's great to do. It's actually a great practice to adopt on a daily basis, because it actually is something that causes it leads the mind to tap into sources of information, of energy that we still don't know where they come from, but it's a connection to the divine, you might say, and a source of knowledge and information and inspiration that, when done properly, meditation achieves that. So meditation, I would say, is the most ancient form, and I would say it's the most ancient Psych Tech. So is yoga, by the way, when properly done. And so are certain athletic regimes. Like if you look at athletes in the Olympics, they also go through rigorous training. Any kind of rigorous training, actually, including Eastern traditions, the martial arts, all the Tai Chi, Qigong. All these traditions are rigorous trainings that I would also classify as Psych Tech. And those are really exciting technologies, exciting disciplines, exciting practices that somebody can do to really change their entire personality, entire being, entire way of thinking, and eventually change the behavior to cause a radical improvement in performance, in results, in business results, in real world success, in real world transformation. Some other ones include, not recommended here, but some people take psychedelics to open their mind and open their awareness. And just the act of starting a business, in fact, becoming an entrepreneur, burning bridges, taking risks, obviously taking calculated risks, is something you can do to put yourself in a situation where you have to grow, and that growth causes a transformation on its own. So deciding to start a business. A lot of people say, and I hear this, that starting a family is putting yourself through a transformation. Also, going on retreats, going on spiritual retreats, basically meditation retreats or any kind of personal growth retreats, going to a Tony Robbins seminar, going to other such things, you can come back with a transformation. Although I might add with an asterisk that going to one retreat, feeling what's possible and coming back to your usual environment normally does not cause a transformation. What causes a transformation is if you go on a big journey. Let's say you go on by the way, another one is going on becoming a nomad, going on a journey. getting rid of all possessions and going away somewhere on a big trip definitely causes a transformation. And taking a workshop could be a glimpse into the transformation, but then you have a lot of work in front of you, and then you have to take another workshop and maybe taking a lot of those workshops one after the other over a period of a year, 2, 3, 4, then that could create a real transformation in life. I hear that starting a family can cause a transformation, and another thing that creates a transformation, and I can attest to this myself, is hiring a coach and working with a coach over a period of a year or more. If you hire a coach, a life coach, a business coach, then and it's a good coach, then what happens is that person looks at you from the side and they believe in you way more than you believe in yourself at that point. They see your life, your future in a much more expanded way. And then they can then support you. And by support doesn't mean that they give you money. Obviously, it's you paying them, the coach. It's the service that they provide. But they can support you morally, emotionally, as well as tell you, I'm going to take your hand and I'm going to make sure you go through this transformation. And actually, on the way to transformation are transitions. And they can actually show you the way to your transformation. So I had a coach that I worked with, and she helped me over a period of a year come to grips with the idea that I can be an entrepreneur, a full-time entrepreneur. That's a transformation. It took me a while to do a switch in my head. Take out an old disc and put a new disc in. That tells me you can be an entrepreneur. That's unbelievable. That is amazing, because it changed everything, because it basically rewired my thinking to really believe in myself in that sense. And that's sometimes the real transformation. It's that mindset shift that it's not crazy, it's not nuts, it's actually doable. You can do it. It's been done before, and that's here. But to take it into the body, to take it into the gut, to take it into the sexual area, to really feel this with the entire being, that's the transformation. That's the transformation I'm talking about. And the new technologies, the new coaching modalities that are available out there, and that I went through coaching school myself, and I have clients now myself, I can attest to this, that it's powerful and it works. I have a coaching client right now, and her income has risen over the last few months that we've worked with her, that I've worked with her. She worked with me because she's taking the steps, because we're doing these one-on-one intensive sessions in which all of the attention is on her, and we're working through her issues, and we're making it work, we're making it happen. And you have to be ready to hire a coach. You have to be, in a sense, that's another transformation, to go from being somebody who is doubtful about hiring a coach and afraid to ask for help, to someone that's actually open to this kind of thing. And then when you're ready, then you can hire a coach and tell him, help me, lead the way, help me get this done. I want to get this done. I want to transform. I want to go from one career to another. I want to go from one position to another. I want to become the president of my company, or I want to start my own business, and I want to succeed in that business. And then, as they say in the East, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So coaching is powerful. Retreats and workshops are powerful. Starting a business on its own is a powerful thing that causes transformation. Although sometimes when you do it on your own by yourself, then it's the school of life and the hard knocks of life could beat you. Obviously, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it's better to actually do it with guidance. and starting a family, and taking any kind of rigorous practice, spiritual discipline, say yoga, an athletic regime, meditating every day, are all, I call them Psych Tech, that lead to a personal transformation. And I'm going to end with this kind of an idea. The idea is this: Warren Buffett, who is the biggest, greatest investor in the world, and I'm going to be talking a lot about him because I love his books, I love his ideas, I love his mentor, Ben Graham. He said this: they've asked him, what is the best investment you can make? What is the best investment you can make? And he said, the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. And I believe that that might be the best piece of advice he gave. An investment in yourself, an investment in, say, a coach or a transformational retreat, or any one of these things I talked about today, that causes a transformation, is probably the best thing you can do, because it's not external. It's not like you invest in a stock out there and you have no control over whatever the CEO of that company does, so that it goes up or down, or whether it has customers or doesn't have customers, whether it succeeds or doesn't succeed, or the economy goes up or down. Investing in yourself is an investment in your own transformation, and that helps you be that CEO that maybe sometimes makes mistakes and sometimes succeeds, but be that CEO that actually goes and starts that business and actually makes it happen one step at a time, obviously, one transition at a time. So transitions are steps. Transition could be going from starting a business to getting first customer, then getting second customer, then getting 10 customers, then hiring an employee. That's another transition in a business. Then hiring 10 employees, then automating the business. That's a transition. And then once you go through these transitions, suddenly you see there's a transformation. You go from having no business to an automated business that works for you. That's an amazing transformation. What's next? Maybe teaching somebody to have an automated business that works for you, that generates passive income. That's an amazing transformation. And so what I'd like to see, what I'd wish for the world to have, is more and more people, and we'll talk about this in Financial Freedom Fridays, more and more people becoming masters of their own life through transformations, through personal growth, through personal development, through Psych Tech, psychological technologies, through what I talked about here: meditation, NLP, yoga, athletic regimes, retreat, psychedelics, not recommended but possible, starting a business and starting a family, or working with a coach. And the more people do this, I believe the more abundant and prosperous world we'll have. Because what is a business? A business is something that helps clients. It's something that people pay money. People pay their hard-earned money for a service that then eventually gives them more value, which eventually generates more money for them. That's how the financial system works. You buy something because it's useful for you most of the time. Sometimes it's not, but usually it's either useful to you or it gives you pleasure, which is also kind of a utility. That's economics. So basically, what I'd like to end with is, first of all, let's take another sip together. Join me for another simultaneous sip. Thank you, Scott Adams, for inventing the simultaneous sip. And I want to drink to, obviously, prosperity, and I'd like to drink to transformations, positive transformation in your life, in the life of your family, the life of your colleagues, your partners, your future friends, perhaps your future students, and just basically knowing that transformation is possible. It's possible for you, it's possible for me, it's possible for the world. And I truly believe that through transformations, we're making the world a better place by making ourselves a better place. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Tune in for more shows. Wellness Wednesdays, Thankful Thursdays, Financial Freedom Fridays. what are Saturdays going to be? Mystical Saturdays? No, spiritual Saturdays, perhaps we'll call them. And singular Sundays and marketing Mondays. Marketing Mondays are going to be super, super interesting. And obviously next week we're going to do another episode of Transformational Tuesdays.